Good day to everyone watching this video. I am Muhammad Sadi, and in today's video we shall continue from where we stopped. So this is the second video of the graphic design bootcamp, and today we shall be walking you through the Photoshop software. So I believe that everyone must have installed Photoshop on his system by now. So let's get started. So once you open up your Photoshop, you are going to see something like this. But then in your own case, since you have not opened any work or you have not worked on Photoshop before, you are not going to see all these works here. You are going to see a blank page here showing you to import or open a file, right? And then from the left menu here, you can see the create new and you can see the open. So Photoshop is a software that is used by a variety of people, different people. So photographers use Photoshop, artists use Photoshop, designers use Photoshop. So it's an accommodating software. Yeah. So if you want to edit a picture, let's say, you are going to click on open. But then for you as a graphic designer, you want to be creating designs, right? So you click on create new, and then this will pop up. So here is where you set up your document. So don't think of yourself as an artist. You know, an artist needs his canvas, yeah, before he starts painting. So also as a designer, you need your canvas, right? So there are various settings and presets that are already in Photoshop. So let's say you want to make a print design. Maybe it's an A4, A5. These are sizes of papers, right? So you can just hover on any one. Let's say you want A4, you click on A4, and then you see by default it gives you the dimension of an A4 paper. So when you hit on create, you are going to be working, your canvas is going to be A4 size, right? So for this video, I want us to be creating, at the end of the video, we'll create a simple design, right? Yeah, we'll create a simple design, something like this. This is a profile card. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to create something similar to this, a simple profile card. So just like we've told you before, we cannot teach you everything in one video. So we have to like take it bit by bit, and then we give you resources where you can work and then learn and explore. Because as a designer, you need to learn how to research. You need to learn how to research, right? Yeah. So for this profile card we'll be creating, we need, let us set our presets by ourselves. So let's name it, this is the name of your work, right? Let's name it profile card. Profile card, right? And then this is the dimension, the width and the height. So for this place, for the unit of measurement, let's use pixels. So pixels are like small squares. So when you have a lot of them, that is what forms your image, one you see on your screen, right? So we are using pixels. And then for this tutorial, let's use 2000 by 2000 pixels. So you change that 2000 by 2000 pixels. And then this is the orientation. If you want it landscape, if you want it portrait, you just put it, and then your resolution should be 300. And then we have the column mode. So we have RGB, and then we have bitmap, grayscale, CMYK, lab color, and the rest. So since we are going to create a design that will be used on the web or will just be shared online, will not be printed, we are going to use RGB color. And then if you are going to design for print, if your design is going to be printed, you are going to use CMYK color. So we are using RGB, and then this is your default background. Once you just set this information, you just hit on create, and then it's going to open up your document for you like this, right? So I'm not sure this is how you see yours. Let me see. Yeah. So opening Photoshop for the first time, your workspace is going to look like this. Yeah. So your workspace is going to look like this. Right? You see this tab, line, you see all the tabs there. But then the first thing I want us to do is I want us to close this line tab, because it's actually of no use for us right now. So you just right click and then you hit on close. And then this library tab also, you right click and then you close it. So now this is your workspace, right? If you want to increase the size, you just hover your cursor here. It will show you a 2-directional arrow, right? Then you will left click and then you drag to the right. You can see that you now have a bigger workspace, right? Yeah. So once you've set your workspace like this, so let me show you. We are going to be discussing some of the tools you need as a graphic designer in Photoshop. So I will just walk you through the most important ones, right? And then you can look into the others in your free time. You can make your research, watch videos, and other stuff. So here, this shows you your layer. Currently, you only have this background layer, right? So this is one advantage with Photoshop. Each element you add in your design is going to have its own layer. So that while you are editing and you don't want to touch, you only want to apply an effect on one layer and you don't want it to affect the whole document. You have the freedom to do so, right? So and then here you can see this is your file, right? This is the name we saved, profile card, right? And then these are your tools. This is where you find your tools in Photoshop, right? And then these are also tabs that can be helpful to you as a designer. This is the color, this is swatches, gradient, patterns, and the rest. We will discuss all of them with time. So here you have the tools, like I said, right? And then sometimes maybe you are looking for a tool or for something in Photoshop in general. When you don't find it on this screen, right? You go to Window, and then you can see them. You can see other tools here that might not be displayed on your workspace. So when you go to Window and you click it, you can see them. Then you can click them, and then they will appear on your workspace. I will show you an example of that in a bit. So and then this is the history tab. It shows you all the history of what the actions you have performed in Photoshop, right? You see, we just created a new document. You can see it showing us here that we created a new document. Let's say I add a rectangle. Okay. Yeah. See, I add a rectangle. So when I hit my yeah, so when I hit my history, you can see it's telling me that I have used the rectangle to, right, to create a rectangle. And then when I come to my layer, just like I told you, each element you add in Photoshop creates its own layer. So you can see now we have the rectangle layer. So if you have 100 layers, you see all of them here lined up. So we'll be looking at them with time. So and then yeah, this is the first tool we'll be looking at, the move tool. Yes. So the move tool is all the use, just like the name implies, right? You use it to move objects and items around in your work. So we have this rectangle, and then if I select the move tool, you can see I can move this rectangle around in my Photoshop, right? So that is what the move tool does. So we also have the rectangle marquee tool. So it is used for selection basically. Let me show you typical example. Okay, let's say this is a picture. So yeah, if you want to add a picture, right, to your work, you can simply locate the folder where the photo is, and then you left click and drag it into Photoshop. So it's going to drop inside your Photoshop file, right, just like this. So this tool, this selection tool. So one thing I forgot to tell you, if you see any tool on the toolbar here and you see a little triangle by the bottom right, that is to show you that there are more tools in that place. So when you right click, you'll be able to see the other tools that are inside. You can see here, if I right click, it's showing me I have 3 tools here. You can see them. So just like I said, we are only going to be looking at those that will be the basic ones you need as a designer, right? So this selection tool, this rectangle tool, I told you is this for selection. We've selected it now. Then let's say I want to select this part of the image. So when I click and drag, you can see I've selected this part. So it depends what I want to do. I can Control C, that is copy, and Control V. So I have copied and pasted the layer, right? So you will see that, let's say, and then this eye icon is used to toggle on and off layers, right? So if I click on the eye icon, you can see that the Instagram, the full picture layer are hidden it, and then you only have this new layer that I copied and pasted, right? So that is how this tool works. All the other ones also perform the same function, they just have different shapes. And then we have the lasso tool. All of these lasso tools, they are used for also selecting. Let's say you want to cut a background from an image or stuff like that, or you want to make selection, right? So we use them. The lasso tool is like kind of free form something. So let me delete this layer. Yeah. So let's say I also want, you can see, you can also click and drag around to make your selection. So you can see this is my selection now, right? And then this polygonal lasso tool, you use it when you want to, when you want to use it, you need to click and then click on each point you want to select, like this, like this, like this. And then when you reach the end, to show you a cycle, and then you click, you see you have made a selection, right? So that is how it works. And then we have this, the object selection. Yeah, the object selection also works the same thing. Once you highlight the whole image, it will automatically detect any object right? And then it will try to automatically select that object for you. So it's a bit slow, so I mean we need to have a powerful system before you can be able to use. You can see it has selected, even though the selection is not perfect, then you can use the other tools, right, to perfect your selection. Let's see, it has selected this part and I don't need them, then you can simply go back to your lasso tool, and then here it will show you the action it's going to perform. This is subtract from selection, this is add to selection. So you want to subtract this place. So when you hit on the subtract and then you come over here, let's say you select this part that you don't want it to see. I'm not doing it perfectly, I'm just trying to show you how to do it. Yeah, let's say you don't want this part, all this part, right? Then you close it. You can see it has now perfected your selection around this camera icon alone, right? So that is, so you can use both tools. And then next we have the crop tool. Yeah, it is used to crop image and your canvas. You can see, you can crop it like this. Then you hit OK. You can see it has cropped your image. So I'm going to Ctrl Z to undo. Yeah. And then the next tool I want to show you is the eyedropper tool. This is the eyedropper tool. The eyedropper tool is used to sample color. Let's say I opened up this picture and then I want this yellow, right? I want this same shade of yellow, right? You just click on the eyedropper tool and then you hover over the yellow color and then you click. When you check your swatches here, your color swatches, you can see it has appeared there. This is the yellow, right? So it is used to sample color. Let's say I want this red. You click on it, you can see it appearing here. You have sampled it, so you can use it on anything on your wall. I want this green. I want this green. You can see. So this is how the eyedropper tool works. And then we have the spot healing tool. All these are tools used by photographers. Yeah, right? You can check them out yourself, or if we find time in another video, we'll discuss them. Or just like I said, in this video, I'm just going to walk you through the basics, right? Yeah, and then the tools you'll be needing as a graphic designer. So we also have the brush tool, which you'll be needing. So once you select it here, you can change the size of your brush. This is the size. You can see that I have a big brush. If I want to decrease the size, I can simply just decrease it from here, and then you can see, right? So this is the brush tool, and then I can go ahead and brush. So here, this is your foreground color, and then this is your background color. So automatically, if you want to change the foreground color, you can double click, right? Yeah, so it opens up the color picker tab for you, and then you can select which color you want your brush to be. Select green. Yeah, you now have green. You can also see it on your color swatch. So you can see you now have a green brush. So like I said, if you want to increase the size, if you want to change the type of brush, right, you also come down. You can see different types of brushes, and then you can also import. That means you can download brushes and then install them, right? Like this one, these special effect brushes, I downloaded them and then I installed them on my PC. So we'll be teaching you all of that. And then the next tool I want to show you, yeah, let me clean this up. So you can see the history tab. Let's go back. That is showing us the history of all the actions we have performed in Photoshop. We created a new Photoshop document, we used a rectangle tool, we moved it around, we deleted the layer. You can see all of it here. So if you want to go back in time, let's say I want to go back to when I created this document first. I can just click on you and then boom, you're back there. And then if I want to come back again, I just come back to the last action I performed, I click on it and then I'm back. But then take note, whenever you go back, right? Let's say I go back to this place where I created a rectangle, right? And then after that, I performed another action. Let's say I just duplicated this rectangle. So you can see, it will clean all the other histories. That means you cannot go back to them again. So you have to be very careful while using this history tab. It can be useful and then it can mess up with your work. So that is that. And then you also have the clone stamp. It's also a tool used by photographers, right? Yeah, you can see how it works. You just sample from the picture and then it copies it and then paste it somewhere for you. Let's say you want to patch the picture, so you can use it. And then we also have eraser. You can see what it does. You just simply select it and then you begin to erase, just like the brush tool. The brush tool is going to draw, right? And then the eraser is going to erase. So you can also increase the size of the brush and decrease it the same way. And then one way you can also increase or reduce the size of your brush is to use the bracket key. You have two bracket keys on your keyboard, right? The open bracket and then the close bracket. So if you want to decrease the size of your brush, you can use the open bracket. You can see I'm tapping on my open bracket and it's reducing the size of my brush. If you want to increase the size of your brush, you hit on the closing bracket. You can see it increasing the size of my brush. And then we have the gradient tool. If you want to have a mix of two colors, right, in your design. Let me show an example. You can see black and white. If you want to change the color, you can just hit on this place and then you can select, you can select which type of gradient you want, right? You can select this one and then you perform action again. You can see. So this is a very, very cool feature which you can use in creating your design. And then I would like to also show you the pen tool. Pen tool is just like your pen. You can use it to draw shapes, custom shapes. Let's say I want a shape like this. You can just be clicking and then it will be creating the shape for you. If you want to close the shape, you close it like this. And then you have closed your shape. You can move it around. See? And then if you want to create curved shapes, when you click on your pen tool, and then you click your first point. Let's say I want to click the second point here. So when you left click, you are going to hold your mouse, and then you can drag. You can see it's creating a curve for you. So you can use it to create any shape you want. You can see how it works, right? So that is the pen tool. And then you also have the text tool. So for the text tool, once you click it, horizontal type, then you just click anywhere on your canvas and then you write what you want to write. Profile card. Then you hit on OK and then you can select and then you can select the move tool and then you can see this. Let me zoom in. So to zoom in, you need to press Control and plus on your keyboard. You can see it's going to zoom in, and then if you want to zoom out, you use Control and minus, right? So it will zoom out. So if you want to increase the size of this text, right, you can select the move tool, and then you just come to one of the edges of this text, and you click and drag. So you can see it's increasing the size, right? But then let's say you don't want to increase it from here. There is a character tab. It's not here. So this is where the windows come in. When you click on Windows, you click on Character. So it will show up here. This is your Character tab. So it's showing this is the font I'm using. You can click and then you can change the font you are using. You can see. So there are plenty of fonts. As a designer, you need to have a lot of fonts, and you can download a lot of free fonts and install on your computer. So we are going to equally share some of these fonts with you, right? Yeah. So this is where you can increase the size of your text. This is the color of your text. So if you want to increase the size, you can just click and then you can select from any of these sizes. Or if you have any size you want to input, you just put it here. Let's say I want 50, enter. So you can see it has increased the size of my text, right? And then you can also hover your mouse around here. You can see two arrows, meaning if you click and move to the left, it will reduce it. If you click and move to the right, it will increase it. Yeah. And then you can change the color. When you click, select any color you want. And then if you already have a color under your swatches that you want to use, you can also go and click it. You can see the eyedropper tool. You're just going to sample this red and then you hit on OK. And then you have it. Your text is now red, right? So let's zoom out. Control and minus to zoom out. So that is that. So I'll also show you the rectangle tool. When you right click on it, you can see other tools. You have other tools, right? You have the rounded rectangle, the ellipse, polygon, line. So you can explore them. Let's explore the rectangle tool. Once you click it, you just click and drag around to create your rectangle. But what if you want a square? If you want a square, you hold down Shift. You can see it's creating a perfect square for me. So once you create a shape, any shape, you go to this place. This is the properties tab. It is showing you the properties of your rectangle or your shape. It's showing that this is the color of your shape, and then this is the stroke. Stroke is just like a border around it. Let's say we want a red border. Click on red, right? And then you come here and then increase the size of your I'm not having issue, but then let's just impute the size of the stroke. Let's say you want 15. So you hit on 15 and hit on enter. It will create, you can see a stroke of 15 around your rectangle. And then let's say, yeah, you don't want to apply the stroke from here. There is another way you can do. This is your layer, right? The rectangle layer. Yeah. And then what you can also do is you can change the layer order, right? You can see that this blue rectangle is above this green square. But let's say you want the green rectangle to be above. You just simply come here, you left click, and then you take it up. You will see two lines showing that it's going up, and then you release it. you can see that we now have the green square above the blue rectangle. So this is how you arrange layer or you order layers in your Photoshop. So I said if you let's click on this blue rectangle. Let's say you want to add a stroke for it and you don't want to use this property stuff. You can double click here. It's going to give you what we call blending options. So you can apply blending options not only on your shape, you can apply it on your text, on any layer. It gives you varieties of options you can use. So if we double click, it's going to open up the blending options for us. Just double click here. What's happening? What's happening? This is taking long, but let's be patient. It's going to open up. Yeah. So you see, these are the blending options, right? These are the blending options. So you can do a lot of stuff from here. So you see, this is stroke. You want to add stroke to this blue rectangle. Just click on stroke. Click anywhere around here. Then to display, it's asking you what is the size of the stroke, the color. The rectangle is already blue, so let's change the stroke to red so that we can be able to see it well. Alright, something like see, yeah. So you hit on OK, so you can see the red stroke, and then you can change, increase or decrease the size of the stroke from here, and then you can change the position. Do you want it outside of the rectangle or you want it to start inside? Right? And then there is this opacity layer. Do you want it to be fully visible or you want it to be half visible? You can see all that. And when you have your desired result, you click on OK. Yeah. So also all these layers you see here, they have their opacity. This is the opacity here. So you can decrease the opacity from here. You can see it's fading away. So you can use this cool feature to blend and create a lot of stuff. So I think yes, then we need to also look at the ellipse tool. Ellipse tool is also the tool you use to create your cycle and ellipse. So if you want a perfect cycle, just like we did when we wanted a perfect square, you hold down Shift and then you left click and drag. You can see that it's giving us a perfect cycle, right? We have our perfect cycle. So you can see from the properties, you can see the properties of this cycle we have, right? Yeah. This is the color. This is the color. This is the stroke and all that. So what is that? And then let's say let's delete all of this. Just left click and drag, select all of them, and then you hit delete. So if you don't want a perfect cycle, you just want an ellipse, you don't need to hold Shift, you can just freestyle it, and then you have it. So, and then if you want a rectangle with a rounded corner, right? When you click here, you select rounded rectangle. So you can just select the regular rectangle. By the time you draw your rectangle. Okay, we have our rounded rectangle tool. So you just click and drag. You can see you have your rounded rectangle, and then you can increase or reduce the size of the roundness from here. So when you just increase these are the four corners: top left, top right, bottom right, and then bottom left. So but when you just increase one, let's use 70, you can see it has applied on all the layers. But if you want it to only affect one layer, you can see this change. So you uncheck it, so you can just go ahead and then edit that of one corner alone. So I think these are some of the tools you need to know as a beginner in Photoshop. So like I said, we'll be creating this simple profile card, right? This profile card. So to create something like this, let's open it on Photoshop. So another way to open Photoshop, instead of click and drag, you know, I said when you click and drag, it's just going to impute that picture inside the layer you're already working on. But let's say you want to open it as a separate document. When you right click, you go to open with, click it, and then you have open with. It will show you different software. So let's select Photoshop 2020. So it is going to open up in Photoshop, but then it is not going to insert it inside our work. It will be another work on its own. You see it right now. You can see it here already. It's a different work. This is what we are working on, and then this is the image we just open up. So let's say we want to sample this blue and use it in our design, right? You just click on your eyedropper tool, like I said. So you just click on this blue, and then we have picked the blue color. So let's go back to our work. So the first thing we need to do is we need to like create this outline. First outline, right? So let's go to our rectangle. So let's leave our rectangle like this. But then you can see this other rectangle has rounded corners, right? So let's leave our own rounded corners too. Let's can click and drag. Yeah, I think 64 is okay. And then let's change the color. The color is white from there, right? But then if we use white, you will not be able to see. So let's use something like, like this. Yeah, for now let's use this. We'll change it to white later. So you can see we have our rounded rectangle. So the next thing we need to add is this blue rectangle, right? So let's create that blue rectangle. Select your move tool and just click anywhere outside so that it will not match the two rectangles. So you just go to your rectangle tool and then you create another rectangle, right? So let's pick this blue, the same blue from there. Just need to automatically pick it because that is the foreground color you have here. So you click on this to hide it, then you select move, and then now you want this rectangle, right? You can see this blue rectangle is inside the other rectangle. So if you want to achieve that, you can do that with anything in Photoshop. So make sure that the blue rectangle is above the other rectangle on your layers panel before this will work. So if you right click and then you hit on create clipping mask, it's going to like net or clip this big rectangle we have created. into this one. So you can see now we have it perfect. Just like this, right? And then let's create our cycle and add an image. So to do that, we will need to go back to our work. Go to your example to your right click so that you'll be able to see the other two. So let's select ellipse. Right? So let's hold shift and drag. And then you can see that it's going to create our ellipse. Sorry, you can see what I'm saying. It's merging these two layers instead of creating a new layer for our ellipse. So we undo that, Control Z. You don't want it like that. So you click on your move tool and then you just click anywhere. Make sure that you do not select any layer. And then you go back to the ellipse tool and then you hold shift and create again. So now it's going to create a new layer for the ellipse. You can see it here already. So let's click our move tool. Yeah, move tool, and then let's move it to the center. You can see once it's in the center, you can see a grid line showing that yes, it's in the center now, right? So let's move it. You can see now we have two grid lines, meaning that it's at the center and perfectly positioned. So we have it here. Okay. So, but if you check, this one has two strokes, right? It has a white stroke and then you can see another blue stroke. So if you want to achieve that, let's add the first stroke from here. Yeah. First stroke is white, right? So let's select white. So and then we increase the size from 0 to, let's say, yeah, I think 10 is okay, right? So increase. So now we need to add this second blue stroke, right? So you can just come to this place, to the layers panel. You double click anywhere around here. It will open up the blending options, right? And then you add the second stroke from there. So we're waiting for it to open our blending option. It's taking a bit of time. This is the layer side. So let's go to stroke. Let me keep it here. Let's go to stroke and then you click on stroke anywhere around here. Click. Right? And then you change the color. You want the color to be blue. Color picker. You cannot click this blue and then it will sample the blue already. And then you hit OK. Then we need to change the position to outside, right? And then you reduce the size all the way down to 9. I think 9 is cool, right? So you hit on OK. So now we have it, but then we don't have our picture in it. To insert our picture, all you need to do is just open up your PC, find where you have your picture. Let me see. Where do I have picture? Okay. Looking for my picture or any picture. Okay, yeah. So let's use this picture. So you need to click and just drag it like I said, and then it will open up inside the document we are working on, right? And this is what we want. So you hit on OK or Enter, and then you can see the picture layer from the layer panel is above the ellipse, the cycle we created. So when we right click and then we say create clipping mask, that means it is going to put it inside that cycle. So you hit on create clipping mask, and then you can see that you have that. All you need to do is to resize your picture. You just click on the edge, and then you hit it like this. And then you can see you have a picture right there. So I would like us to change this place to white, so it will be white like this one. But then for that, let's add a cool feature to this rectangle. Let's add a drop shadow so that it can differentiate this white from the white of the rectangle. So double click here to open up the layer style and the blending option. So you can see, let's move it, and then you can click on drop shadow. So when you click on drop shadow, you can see it added a full shadow around your rectangle, right? So you can play with this, the size of the shadow, and then how far it goes, the angle, the opacity. You can play with all that. So you can see that this place is a very, very cool feature. You can use to do plenty things. You can apply texture, you can apply gradient, you can apply a pattern. All this stuff, you just need to like go and read more or research more about blending options, right? So let's hit on OK. So now that we have this shadow, you can change the color to white. You can just click on the properties, color, and then select white. You can see that it's now white, but then we can differentiate it from our background, right? So this is what we want. And then the next thing we need to do is to add our name, right? And just go to text, and then you click. Let's say the name is Muhammad Shadi. So you click it, and then you hit on this icon, OK, and then you select the move tool. Then you resize it, right? Enter. So we have this aligned perfectly in the center, right? So maybe you want to add this other text. You can simply duplicate this layer. You can hover over it, and then you can hold Alt. You can see. Then you left click and drag to create another layer for you. Or you come to the layer panel here, and then you click it and drag it to this plus icon. And then you can see we have a new layer, right? Muhammad Sadiq and Muhammad Sadiq copy. So that means there are two of them here. If you just click and drag, you can see it. Or you can still press Ctrl J on your keyboard, Ctrl J. You can see it has created another one. If you move this one, you can see we have another one. You can see. So let's delete this one. Sorry, let's leave one. So let's change it. Click on text or T on your keyboard, and then yeah. So you can change this to, let's say, graphic designer. So you hit on OK. My system is getting slow. I think this video is also getting long, so I will have to end the video very soon. Yeah, I think with the basics I've given you now, you should be able to do the rest, right? So let's resize the key, and then you hit on enter, and then try 20. You can move it. Remember our principles of design, space, right? Give enough space, and then you can see we are using contrast to show that this one is the main name, and then this one is just a title. So we are making this one bigger and this one smaller. So these are the principles of design you can be using in your design, and you can see we have icons, Facebook icons, and the rest. So if you want to do that, you can just go ahead, download icons online, PNG. That means PNG are like images that don't have icons, that don't have background, right? So, or you can download, there is an app called PyCon. This is it. This is what I use. It has a lot of icons. You can see them. So you just need to open it and then click and drag it into your Photoshop, and then you just paste it there. And then all you need to do is to just hit enter, and then you have it. If you want to resize it, you can resize it. You can see you've added it. So you can go ahead, just download. For now, just download this icon on your browser, and then you can send them to your laptop, and then you can import them, right? And then let's see how to create something like this. This is just a rounded rectangle and then with a text, right? So you can just create a rectangle, and then we give it some roundness. Can do that here. Then you click, and then you click on this. So let's just copy this. You can hold Alt, and then you drag. You have copied this, and then if you put it here, you can see. Number one, it's not going to show because they have the same color. So let's change it. Let's say to red. It's still not going to show because on the layers panel, this graphic designer is below this new rectangle layer we have selected. So you need to go to the layers panel. This is the rectangle. You need to put this graphic design, this layer above it. So you click and drag it up. And then you can see you have it, right? So you can place it here, and then you can just give it white color. So you can see that you have done that. So these are the stuff you need to do. You need to complete this till the video is getting too long. And then the assignment we are giving you, the task we are giving you is you are going to create a profile card. You can browse through the internet and find different styles and designs of profile cards. So from there, just pick anyone you like and create a design using the basics you have learned now, right? Just go through the internet. Okay, one last thing, if you want to save your work, you go to File, Save As. Let's say you want to save it as an image and share it with us after you have done, after you are done with your work. So you go to Save As to show you the folder you want to save and the name. So here, file type. If you save it as PSD, that is the Photoshop document. You need to save your work immediately you start as a Photoshop document so that you'll be able to edit it next time. So, but for now, we don't need it as an image. So you click and then you go to JPEG. You click on JPEG and then you just save it inside our folder. Bootcamp, yeah. So you just save it there. And then here is where you can select the quality and all. I'll just hit on OK. So you can see it is saving my file. So now, if I go to that same folder, you can see that I can find it here. This is it. Double click on it, then I can open it. So that is that. So for your assignment, you are going to be creating a profile card. This one, we just use it for practice. So you don't need to go online, find different designs, and then you can copy them, and then we'll give you the submission link, which you can use to submit your work. So I guess that will be all for now. We'll meet in the class for anyone that has any questions. So thank you for your time and have a nice day.